What's good, you two? What's going on? Happy New Year and happy end of 2023. And I'm here with one of my best friends in the whole wide world, live in another state at the time to be with his family. Um, in his car, my man Socrates Palmer. What's going on?
What's going on, kid? All for the sake of the show.
All
Can't
for the
stop, won't
same.
stop.
Yes, sir. We took a day off yesterday. That was, I was a bit tired. I was on vacation this past week for the holidays, for the Christmas holidays, and and then I also thought, last Friday we weren't going to top last Friday. We had a great interview with Bruce Shushu Carrington, and why not make that the last Friday sports show, of the year, ended with the bang. And so now we're here Saturday to do a year in review. It's the last day. In a couple hours will be the last day, which is weird. I found it 12/31/23, and that equals 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's pretty weird. 12/31/23. 1 2 3 1 2 3.
That's
What do you think
uh
about that? It's weird, right?
that's that's a number that we probably won't see again.
No, I don't think we will.
I'm
So
gonna
as
make
easy
that bet.
as so as easy as 1 2 3 1 2 3, we'll do a quick year in review. We'll give our awards to we'll focus on boxing, and maybe we do some other sports teams as well as maybe athletes of the year, and in that aspect. And but first, let's start off real quick and talk about last Saturday in Saudi, the big Saudi card, mostly heavyweights. What did you think about that pay per view as a whole?
Well, the pay per view as a whole, I think delivered. There was a long fight card. There was about 7 fights. We had the one upset with the I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce his name. You know, but he's kind of like been declared a fraud, and the two undefeated fighters, and now we have the fighter from is he Turkish or Armenian, somewhere from the
Yeah,
old Ottoman Empire. He's an undefeated lad. He stopped the previous undefeated Stan guy. So
yeah,
Google it. Check box rec. Don't quote me. um Then we had kind of like chalk. Bivol did what he was supposed to do. Uh, Speaking of frauds, Jared Big Baby Miller, who if he fought as good as he talked, and if he took care of his fat self, would actually be great.
yeah.
But he got washed by Daniel Dubois. So hopefully that'll be the end of the Juice Man, Jared Big Baby Miller, who was stopped in the 10th round, I believe, by Dubois.
Yep, the
So
last round.
so good bounce back win for Dubois, who um you know what is kind might be turning the corner. He had a obviously the fight with Usyk. Uh, some people feel he got shafted. Other people think he quit, but it was a good bounce back win for him against Gerald Miller. And then of course we had the co-main event that stole the show. Joseph Parker with
Yeah.
the upset against the previous WBC World Heavyweight Champion, Deontay Wilder. Tom, I gotta throw the alley oop to you. Is the Bronze Bomber washed?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, he did look washed to me because because it's not the Wilder that we're used to seeing, right? I mean, I think he went in there and I think he was looking for that one shot, and he didn't. It didn't seem like any time in the fight, and he had to know he was down on the cards, but it didn't. He didn't seem to be desperate in any time in the fight. Like let's go back to the Luis Ortiz fights. Like he was questionably down both fights, and he came back and he fought back and he stopped him. He didn't have that urgency in the part.
Yes.
And that's why I would kind of lean to yes, he may be a little bit washed. Um, Parker didn't do anything special. Parker had a game plan and he went with it. And his game plan was to not get hit by the right hand. Other than that, he may have hurt Deontay maybe once in the whole fight, that one round. But other than that, he didn't really hurt Deontay. I mean, Wilder didn't it didn't look like he had that hunger to go out there and try to hurt him or land something really. He was trying to land one shot, but when I watched the fight as the fight progressed, it was like when I was at his previous fight against Helenius. When he stopped Helenius, Deontay was going back on his back foot. He was on the ropes.
Right. Yeah.
And he landed, right? And it looked like he might have been trying to do the same thing with Parker, but the past Wilder never really fought like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure what him and Malik are doing in the gym. Malik was supposed to be teaching him, to box a little more. He didn't really throw the jab, So it was frustrating to see because I like Wilder. I generally like Wilder. I like Parker too, and I really wanted to see Wilder, fight Joshua because I always thought that Joshua was afraid of Wilder. That's just my opinion. I always thought of it, and that's what I really wanted to see. So I was more frustrated than anything because obviously we're not going to get it. They said it was signed, and it was supposed to happen if both won, but maybe Joshua would have found another way out. But at the end of the day, it was more frustration than anything. So I have to kind of agree. I don't know if this is what you said. You kind of gave it to me, so you didn't really state your opinion. But I kind of think that he may be done. He said he's going to continue, so that's good. But if he continues, I want to see the old Wilder. I don't want to see the Wilder I saw last week. And even in defeat, like if I see Wilder lose, I want to see him come out and try. Even the third fight against Fury, he hurt Fury a bunch of times.
Of course, right. You want to see him go out in the shield.
Yeah, he didn't have that urgency against Parker. So if I do see, Wilder come back, I want to see that Wilder. I don't want to see last week. So that's what I'll say about that. But as of now, as of the last fight, you're only as good as your last win or your last performance. And he didn't look good. And I don't want to see that Wilder again. So I would have to say, yes, he looked a little bit washed.
He looked like someone that lives very comfortably. Look, when he made the switch to Malik Scott and him are friends. I'm not a fly on the wall of that gym, but I'm pretty sure that a training session with him and Malik at some point probably say, you know what, cut the gloves, I'm done. And Malik's gonna just nod his head. They're friends. I don't think he's gonna push Deontay to that point of being uncomfortable. A trainer, yes, he's got to be friendly with you, I believe, but he's got to keep you on edge. You have to trust in him. And I think Deontay and him have a trust, but like I said, they're boys. I don't think he's going to yell at Deontay. I don't think he's going to correct him. I think that what we saw was a 38-year-old that couldn't pull the trigger. Because like you said, Joseph Parker was in range and he just couldn't, he wouldn't throw the right hand. Credit to Joseph Parker, great strategy. He tied him up when he had to. Deontay took a hell of a right hand, which was replayed a lot in the corner that would have dropped most guys. Caught him straight in the jaw, an overhand right. And Deontay took it. It was probably the best punch of the fight. He just outworked Deontay, and he wanted it more. And the crazy thing is, Joseph Parker has been around a long time, but he's only 31. He's only 31, and I think he's ranked in the top 5 in all the sanctioning bodies. So, he definitely bought himself a new payday, another big payday, and should, probably get a title shot again. So, I don't want to make it all about what Deontay didn't do. You got to give Joseph Parker the credit. He was in shape, and being 213 pounds for a guy that's 6'6", I don't know, man. He just looked weak. I think that also could have been a factor, and also some ring rust. So. And
yeah, I okay. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and don't discount the fight with Joshua not happening. We've seen it before. I think the fight still can make money Not as much as before, but I think that fight could still happen if both guys want it.
Yeah, I agree. And if the point about the weight, I know me and Pedro had the discussion, but like usually he's at his best when he's about that weight. But he was moving around a lot more when he's at that weight. Like he didn't really move much in the fight against Parker at that weight. So yeah, so like if you're gonna do that, you might want to be bigger and maybe be a little bit stronger. But I was happy to see that he was actually that weight at the weigh-in. But he didn't fight like it. Like he didn't move. He didn't. You know, I don't know, man. But only Wilder knows, and obviously his trainer and Malik Scott and who his camp know. What Wilder may have left, and if he has the passion and desire to really fight again. He don't need the money. He's like you said, he's living comfortably. He's made a good money. He's been a good champ. He's from 20 years old that never boxed to become a boxing champion, to make the Olympic team, which is something great. Nobody really speaks about. To be an Olympian is a great thing. From 20 years old, I mean, I had an argument with somebody on Facebook about that. He was an Olympian, right?
Well, that's actually the one commonality him and Joshua have. Two guys that picked up the sport late.
Yeah.
Because Anthony Joshua is very similar. He had not been boxing much, when he made the Olympic team. Now, granted, it could be a combination of it being a weak class, right? Like they always say, the best American heavyweights are in the NFL, right? That's has been like the adage the last 10, 15, 20 years. So, but not everybody could fight though. And Deontay's blessed. Was blessed with punching power that obviously the stats say tell the story. He's been good for the sport, especially for the American boxing scene. There's been American fighters that have fallen on their face. I mean, Michael Grant, Seth Mitchell, guys with a lot of hype behind them, and they don't pan out. So Deontay's had a great career, and if he's done, I think he has nothing to be ashamed of. Part of one of the great trilogies of all time, him and Fury. We probably don't appreciate it now, but 20, 30 years ago, you're going to talk about it the same way we talk about Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield. That to me, those two are the, outside of Ali and Frazier, are the standard. So. But to answer my own question, yes, I believe the Bronze Bomber's done.
D Free just got on.
What's cracking?
What's good, fellas? What's good?
We're just recapping last week real quick before we go into the awards. Sock has curfew tonight. He's with family.
Yeah.
So we can't.
Don't want to be antisocial. I dipped out for a few.
Yeah. I heard y'all talking about Wilder. What I saw in the fight, I saw somebody who had ring rust and who looked like he was 38 years old. I think it just Father Time might have just showed his face. And we got to remember Deontay Wilder is 38, even though he doesn't have a lot of mileage on him because of the fact that he started boxing late, but he is 38 years old. So it could be a combination of both of those because him coming in at 213 pounds, that's his ideal weight. That's the weight that he normally fights his best at. When we saw him fight Fury those last two times, Deontay Wilder came in heavier than he usually come in. So when he usually fights at his best, he's usually around 212 and 219. So I didn't see nothing really wrong with him coming in at 213 because that's his ideal weight. He's not a real big stocky 6'6", 6'7" guy. He's more so slender. He just have a natural build to him, but he's a slender guy. So I didn't see that being a factor. I just think that he's starting to show his age, and I think that's the reason why AJ said, yeah, he do want to fight him in March, because AJ saw what a lot of us seen, that he's starting to show his age.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot to mention what you mentioned, the ring rust. He hasn't been in the ring since last October. I was there, and then that was only one round, and then before that was about another year and a half, maybe, or 2 years, I think it was. So I mean, the ring rust is is definitely part of it. We forgot to mention that as well. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens in the future. Like I said, I don't like to call people shot, but he did look shot. He does look like um, it may be over. But if he wants to continue fighting, it's like Sak mentioned. I would like to see him, come back more disciplined and more with that hunger and more that urgency and wanting that killer instinct. And
Yeah,
that seems to be kind of lost.
Yeah, I think he will only come back for the Joshua fight if they're going to make that fight, because that fight was already signed.
Yeah,
If they're going to do that fight, I think that's the only fight that he really has to fight for, because he's probably not going to ever get a shot at the undisputed. So um, the Anthony Joshua fight is probably the only fight that he's going to come back for, and then after that, he's probably going to hang it up.
yeah, I agree.
And we've seen guys like they almost forget like the fight even happened. I remember Eric Morales lost to Raheem, and he was still able to
Uh-huh.
get the Barrera fight, and the Pacquiao. So, it's okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, he lost, but it's like it didn't happen. All right, it's still a money fight,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
especially if they're bringing it. I mean, it could do big bucks obviously in the UK, but it seems like they're gonna, exploit the cash cow, which is the Saudis right now.
yeah,
Yeah, the Saudis already had set it up
Yeah.
for those two fights. So, I mean, regardless of what it does on the pay-per-view number wise, they already got their money. They know what they're getting. So it doesn't matter to them how it sells. They already going to get their money. They're getting a flat fee.
yeah.
So
hmm
Well, let's see what
It
happens
can
with the
still
numbers.
happen. Remember Zab got the Mayweather fight
Yeah,
fresh off
after
of
a
losing to
loss.
Baldomir.
Yeah,
yep,
It
yep,
happens, So let's not
yep.
kid ourselves. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. And I think that I wouldn't say that Joshua's scared. I don't think the fighters are scared. I think the people behind them were probably afraid of what could happen. And
No,
maybe
I know that.
yeah,
I know that that's the deal with Eddie. Eddie was the
yeah,
one that kept stepping in the middle of that every time that they was trying to make the fight. He was
mhm.
always finding a reason why they came to fight.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he believed he had no problem kicking Deontay's back in right
yeah,
after the fight. He
Right.
he was he had no problem kicking the man while he was down. And maybe they see, okay, he's shot enough that maybe we could put him in there against AJ, because in reality they both kind of need each other.
Yeah.
And I guess back to Joshua, what are your thoughts on the Wallin fight? Anybody?
Um, I think Joshua, he showed confidence, but I think it was a false sense of confidence because he was in there with a guy that he knew couldn't punch that well. We all know why Otto Wallin is not a big puncher, and the last couple of fights that we seen Anthony Joshua in there with, it was guys that could possibly hurt him or knock him out, and he seemed timid. Now, the only one I say he didn't seem that timid was Usyk, but it's still with moments in that fight when Usyk caught him with a nice shot, you
yeah,
saw Joshua freeze up. So he got in there with Wallin, and Wallin is not a big puncher, so he had the confidence. I'm just going to walk straight to this guy because I know he can't punch hard. That's the difference that I saw in the fight, and I think it's. I want to see. I mean, I want to see what he looked like if he get in there with Wilder. Is he going to still be that same type of fighter that he was when he fought Otto Wallin, or is he going to go back to the way he was when he fought Usyk and when he fought Anthony? I mean, Andy Louise. Is he going to be scared to get hit?
Yeah,
yeah,
going into the fight, I thought Wallin was going to pull off the upset, but I'm going to give props to one of the guys behind the scene for Matchroom. Props to my guy Kevin Rooney Jr., the matchmaker, for picking Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. There was no fear of Wallin, so that's how Anthony Joshua fought. busted him up early, and I was really, really disappointed in Wallin's performance.
Yeah.
I thought he had a really good shot. I'm glad that my Wi-Fi was acting up, and I wasn't able to place that bet. So sometimes the best bets you make, the
Otherwise,
best bets are the bets that you don't make.
that's true.
But great matchmaking to build up a
Yeah.
guy's confidence. So props to Kevin Rooney Jr., son of course, the legendary Kevin Rooney. Mike Tyson's first pro trainer. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
good matchmaking by Matchroom.
Great points. I mean, and not only that, they were familiar with each other. They sparred, they boxed in competition before in the Olympics and the games. So they knew each other well, and great point. I also thought Wilding was going to win as well. I thought he would be the one to pull off the upset, but it's like D. Free said, Joshua came in a different person, and he says in interviews, he said he didn't know Wilder lost. Like he said, he didn't watch the fight. I don't think that's true. He knew Wilder lost, and I think that helped in his confidence as well. It had to know that
he
Wilder
probably didn't. Yeah, he probably didn't watch the fight, but I'm sure he heard in the locker room.
Yeah, and it seemed like, oh, he's looking bad and this and that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So,
I'm pretty sure he didn't watch it though, because I'm sure he was warming up. But I'm sure somebody said, "Oh, Deontay's down or whatever."
Yeah, and that had to give a little bit more confidence as well.
Maybe.
Yeah. And to go back to the Wilder fight real quick, if you look at Wilder at the end of the fight, he wasn't beat up. He didn't have no marks on him or nothing like that. He got outworked. He got outworked. So it wasn't like he took a beating in that fight. He just got outworked. Joseph Parker had a great game plan. He nullified Deontay Wilder's jab, and he kept the pressure on.
Yeah.
And that it paid off for him. But at no point did I think Wilder was going to get knocked out. Now, he did get caught with a nice shot, but when you look at the replays, all of those shots that Parker was throwing when Wilder was on the ropes, they was missing. He was hitting the glove, he was hitting the air, he was missing. So I was like, okay, he got caught with a clean shot, but the rest of those punches wasn't landing.
Yeah.
So it just looked good, but it wasn't landing no clean shots on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Deontay, where he landed less than 40 shots in the fight.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I almost thought that he was hurt because the way he was throwing his punches, obviously they weren't crisp, but it was just weird the way he was throwing some of those punches. Like it was almost like street fight punches. Like, I mean, it's hard to describe the way he was just like throwing it. Like it looked weird. Like
no, I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of funny because if you look at the number of punches that Wilder landed, it's the same amount of punches that Regis Prograis landed. It's the same amount of punches that was landed in the Shakur Stevenson fight.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's a funny coincidence that all three of these fights got the same amount of punches landed in all three of the fights.
The same exact? What?
Like
30 something punches? 39? 30, I can't remember off the top of my head because the Regis,
I know Regis landed 39 punches, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was 39 punches. It was either 39 punches landed or 39 punches thrown in the Shakur Stevenson fight, and that's why when they said it with Regis, I was like, okay, that's funny, that it was the same amount of punches or whatever. And then now Wilder come out and they said 39 punches again, and I'm like, hold on, this 3 times in a row, 39 punches were landing in these big fights.
Yeah, I'm looking. I just go against Parker. Wilder landed 39 punches, right? Which is crazy. I mean, heavyweights normally obviously have a much lower output than the lighter weight classes, but that's still really bizarre. I think we got to play that number, boys.
I'm trying to look at the copy box because I actually have it in the other notebook. I actually wrote down everything in the Regis Haney fight because I was reporting on it the next day with Pedro on the show Sunday, and now I'm at the website and they don't have it. They only have the last 5 fights. It's weird. I'm sure I could find it somewhere, just the website. But yeah, that's crazy. It's like 37 to 39 punches, something like that, in all 3 fights. That's nuts.
That's why when I heard that number, because I didn't even pay attention to the copy box until
Yeah.
somebody put it on Instagram, and I was like, "Hold up, 39 in this one too? That's three
Yeah.
fights in a row that it was 39 punches landed by the loser. The loser
Yeah.
landed 39 punches in all three fights."
Yeah. Well, let's see. That kind of ends 2023, and with that said, let's go into what we think, who we think is the fighter of the year. Who's the fighter of the year 2023?
The fight or fighter?
Fighter of the year. Who's the boxer or slash fighter of 2023?
I would have to give it to. See, it's a toss up. It's a toss up between Haney and Monster Inoue.
Yeah, I have the same thing, by the way.
Monster Inoue, he won the second undisputed a little over a year, like a week over a year. I think it was 370 days since he won undisputed at 118 pounds.
Yeah, and that's what got me confused earlier. Not to cut you off with Sock, because I was like, anyway, fought 3 times, but it was in December of last year. He beat Butler.
Yeah, but I think I would have to give it to. Damn, I think I would give it to Inoue. I think I'll give it to Inoue, and the reason being is, the 2 fights that Inoue had. He moved up to 122. He fought the best guy at 122 in Cool Boy and knocked Cool Boy out. And then he turns around and fight the other guy that had the other 2 belts and unified all 4 belts and became undisputed in the second weight class. When I look at Devin, yeah, he fought Loma, but it was an older Loma. I think Loma was like 35, 36 years old. And then he fought Regis Prograis, and he moved up and fought Regis Prograis. And like I said, Regis Prograis is a dog, but the one thing that Regis Prograis, he's not very skilled. He doesn't have great defense. And the one thing that always drove Regis was his hunger to become a champion. And so that's why he was able to get the wins that he got, because he was always much more hungry than the other people that he was fighting against. So I have to give it to Inoue, because I believe his fights were just a little bit more tougher than Devin Haney's.
Okay. Sock?
Yeah.
Welcome, K.
I'm going with Inoue. You know, the fact that he fought 3 times, which is a rarity.
Actually, it's twice. That's why I thought I texted
the calendar wise.
Yeah, calendar wise is twice.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go by the fact that he was dominating. You know, as opposed to, I mean, Devin, great accomplishment. Like you said, you know, beating Prograis and the win against Loma, but the Loma one was disputable. Inoue is just really dominant, you know, and I would have to go with him. And then if a third guy, I'd probably go with Benavidez. You know, if that would be my, like, if I'm my like in the Miss Universe contest, that's my top 3 right there. I'm going with Inoue, Haney, and Benavidez. You know, they need to get Inoue on the Saturday. You know, prime time. You know, maybe in Los Angeles. Luis Nery seems to be the next opponent. I mean, that's a fight at the Staples Center that they should be able to sell out with no problems. You know, big Asian, Japanese population over there. Capitalize off of the Otani Yamamoto fever. You know, maybe they can have that fight in you know, think out of the box, man. I would like to see promoters think out of the box. Have that fight in Dodger Stadium, you know, build up the monster, you know.
You say Inoue and who?
Nery.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Because I mean, he said he wants to remain at that weight class, and I think Luis Nery would be the guy that makes the most logical sense. Now, I know he's with he fights under PBC, so they would have to, you know, take care of that end. But I think that's a fight that's doable. I think it's 2 guys contrasting styles, and it can happen in Los Angeles with no problem.
that might not be a hurdle that they have to jump too much longer because Top Rank is in talk with Amazon Prime coming to Amazon Prime. Like I told people months ago.
Well, I don't know if you guys seen this. I don't know. I don't want to try to change subject because I know Sock has a little bit of time. First of all, let me just welcome K-Rod to the panel real quick. But I know Sock has got a quick look. But I saw something reported where Top Rank was going to be sold to Dana White's people, right? To not Dana
Endeavor.
White. To the who bought the WWE, right?
Endeavor, right? That's
yeah. So I mean, I don't know how legit it is or true, but I guess we'll find out in the next month or two.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Yeah. I do know that there was reports that at first, well, I know that Amazon was looking to buy ESPN because ESPN was up for sale, and Amazon was looking to buy them. But then it was reports that came out earlier last week that Top Rank was talking to Amazon Prime and trying to strike a deal with Amazon Prime as well.
Yeah, I think it's all going to come out because if that company seems to have bought Top Rank, because Bob is, he's in his 90s. That's huge because then that Dana White and Tom Loeffler will then be in the picture and they'll be making the fights. You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
Well, I mean, it could be a deal like the WWE because Vince sold the WWE, I think, for $8 billion, right? But the Endeavor people smart enough to let the wrestling people handle the wrestling, so they're still in control of the content, and you may still get that, from Top Rank. I mean, because Top Rank is a well-oiled machine, but like you said, Bob is 92. I don't know how much he has as far as day to day. What goes on. I know his stepson Todd DeBuff.
He handles
kind of runs the show over there, so maybe he just doesn't want to be part of the family business anymore. But it's going to be an interesting next, I would say, 120 days. I say by April we're going to know what's up with that because these acquisitions happen. There's a lot of Y's and T's and I's to cross.
Yeah. What's going on, K-Rod?
K-Rod.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, bro? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody on the panel. D-Free.
Happy New Year.
All the best to you in 2024. K-Rod, nice to meet you. All the best in 2024. I'm going to bow out, Tom.
All right, Sock. I'll see you.
You have my football pick, so
I will do that towards the end. I'll talk about them, and then
all right.
I'll get up with you either later tonight or tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We're gonna finish doing the year in review, and then I'll talk a little bit about the channel, how we started this year, blah blah blah, all the the quote unquote rainbow stuff, and
the best is yet to come.
And the best is yet to come. We're gonna continue doing what we do, and
that's right. I heard someone say that in the porno flick once. So.
Woo! Oh man, end of 2023 right, Sock.
Peace.
Take care, bro.
All right, man.
All right, before I'm gonna let K-Rod give his fight of the year. I agree with both of you guys. It's kind of tough. I have it as a kind of like a coin flip between Haney and the Monster Inoue. I'm gonna lean towards the Inoue, but it's very close. And the reason why is because the way he won the two fights and how he became undisputed the second time. And then Haney beat a bigger name, right? He beat Lomachenko, but some people say that Loma won the fight. Some people say it was a draw. So I'm gonna lean towards Inoue, but it's very close. And then honorable mention David Benavidez, Crawford, but Crawford only fought once. And I got a fifth honorable mention. Real quick before you guys go, you guys are gonna laugh at me. I told Sock earlier, and he's like, "Oh, come on, really?" But I'm gonna give fifth honorable mention to Tim Tszyu because he fought 3 times, and I believe all 3 were stoppages, right? Was all 3 stoppages? And he was trying to get Charlo. Charlo was hurt, didn't get the Charlo fight. Charlo ended up fighting Canelo. So I give Tim Tszyu an honorable mention. He fought 3 times this year. Last year he only fought once. And he became a world champion this year, even though it was kind of a vacant title. So don't laugh at me too much, but I said fifth fifth out of the other behind the other four guys. All right, go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Don't make me
I
play the
mean,
clip. Don't make me play what's my motherfucking name. Don't make me do it.
yeah. Okay, Ron, you can go ahead because I already spoke on the fighter of the year.
Alrighty. Yeah, I don't know like if I will trigger anybody, but I think in my opinion, fight of the year definitely has to be Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko. Just
Okay.
simply because I'm sorry, do you want me to continue or
No. No, because we would talk who's your fighter of the year, but I guess we could segue into the fight of the year. That's the next thing.
oh. Okay, yeah. Like I'll start with that first. Fighter of the year, I'll probably say Terrence Crawford.
Okay.
Definitely Crawford, just because, he had a really great performance against Errol Spence, and that was a great iconic victory. So I think, like, when you talk about like a guy like Crawford, yes, despite how people, like to say about him, to say how he moves as a fighter, like for him to wait this long to fight Errol Spence and actually dominate and actually do what he has to do as a fighter to stay disciplined and focused within a longer period of time. I give a lot more respect to a guy like Crawford who's ready to take like a world title fight right away and risk it all. And I think Crawford definitely showed a lot of volume, with how he ended 2023. But um, yeah, do you want me to talk about fight of the year, right?
Yeah, and segue right into that because I'll be next. The fight of
All
the
right.
year.
Yeah. Fight of the year is Haney versus Lomachenko simply because everybody thought Devin Haney was going to lose to Lomachenko to try to hype the fight up. But when Devin Haney had the ability to prove his skills in the ring to dismantle what Lomachenko couldn't do to him, a lot of people wanted to bring controversy to the fight to say that Lomachenko could have won against Devin, but Devin Haney submissively took everything that Lomachenko was good at doing and made the fight harder for Lomachenko to make the fight convincing to win. And then on top of that, when Haney had his opportunities to beat on Lomachenko heading into the middle to later rounds, that's what showed Devin Haney to be a much more complete, pure boxer with great fundamental, high ring IQ, just great skills all together. And I think like based off of that type of fighter like Haney, that's like personally for me, that's how I would view somebody to be, like the fight of the year because you have to put it all out there and risk it all to be in those type of fights. So, like comparable to Floyd Mayweather versus Marcos Maidana, people thought Marcos Maidana was going to knock out Floyd Mayweather, and people thought Floyd Mayweather was just going to get dog walked. He was going to get destroyed, and then everybody thought in the first fight Maidana won, but guess what? Floyd rematched him and he still whipped him. So like personally, how I see it with Haney, it's the same, like eclipsing moment. Like every fighter goes through this because for me, like, I'm a believer of testing yourself up against like the deadliest competition. So, from that point of view, like I feel like as you keep on doing that and as you keep like evolving as an athlete, nobody doesn't beat you as long as you stay disciplined and you don't let those those critics and those haters try to get up inside like your head mentally and physically to like put you down and actually like hold you back, as an athlete, because only you can um defeat yourself, and the man in the mirror um is the only person to defeat you in any sport of combat. So I think like, that's just a core principle of life in general, and as long as you keep yourself collected and focused and dedicated, everything is possible. And greatness can be like achieved with anything to your greatest belief.
I agree. That's pretty good. I mean, no disagreement here. I kind of agree. I have a few fights as fight of the year. It's hard for me to single out one, but definitely Haney and Loma is one of them. I'll mention the other two shortly. D Free, do you have a fight of the year or maybe a memorable fight of this year?
Yeah. Haney is a very Haney and Loma is a very very close second, a very close second to the fight that I got fight of the year. And the only reason why I said it's a very close second is because that fight could have went either way. A lot of people had Loma winning, a lot of people had Haney winning. I actually scored it a draw. It was a hell of a fight. Like I said, it was a very close second. But the fight of the year that I got is the O'Shaquie Foster fight that
Wow.
he had.
Damn, I didn't think nobody was going to say that. I had that already in my back pocket. Go ahead.
That was my fight of the year because O'Shaquie Foster had all the chips stacked against him. This man was the champion. He went to Mexico to fight the challenger.
Yeah.
And if he did not get that knockout in that last round, he was going to lose that fight. They already had the cards already made up. O'Shaquie Foster was going to lose that fight. And O'Shaquie Foster pulled out the one card, the one punch that he had to pull out, and he caught him with it, and the referee stopped the fight. So I gotta give it to O'Shaquie Foster. I can't remember the fighter name that he fought, but
Rocky Hernandez, Eduardo Hernandez.
Yeah,
Hernandez,
Eduardo.
That was the fight of the year for me.
That's a good point. I was gonna say that. I said I agree with K-Rod, Loma and Haney. That was a big fight of the year. I didn't have one as rank one, and I was gonna mention O'Shaquie and Hernandez. But now that you did that and you took that from me, I didn't want to do it because it's not really a memorable fight because it wasn't a big fight. But I was there, so I'm biased, and it was my friend. So I'm gonna put in there Maelo versus Kalen Walsh because I was in the building and I was front row, and that was a heck of a fight. Especially if you was in that building, in the theater at that time watching that fight, you might agree with me also, or you probably still think I'm crazy. But that was a great fight, and I was there live. And, the referee, I thought, messed up, Willis. But we won't talk about that. But that'll be my other fight of the year, and that's because, my friend was on the card, and he was the main event. And I thought he should have won the fight. Different story, but that was a good fight. I know K-Rod, you seen that fight.
Yeah. Like I was gonna ask you how many Irish people were really there actually going crazy.
A lot. It was more Irish than anything. It was more Irish fans than anything, but they were nervous.
Irish people are the best boxing fans, hands down.
Yeah, they thought Kalen lost. A lot of Irish fans thought that he lost.
I love Irish boxing fans because they actually keep it real with you. They're very prideful with sports, but it's just having like a good conversation with people like that. Like I can always talk sports like every single day.
Yeah, they're real cool. I mean, even at the T.O. and Taylor fight, yeah, he's from Scotland, but there was a lot of Irish people in the crowd.
Yeah, I saw that fight too.
Yeah, so
I saw that.
Yeah, Caleb.
I saw that fight too, and I actually thought he won as well. I thought he won, but they didn't give it to him.
No, and the cards were BS too. And then I don't even want to talk about the knockdowns. We spoke about it when the fight happened afterwards, but that was my other fight of the year choice. And then I got a fourth one, not really fight of the year, and it's more because it's going to segue into the next award. Robeisy versus Espinoza. That was a really good fight, and that leads to probably the upset of the year. Espinoza beating Robeisy. He was a big time underdog, and the fact that he was fighting, I believe it was in Miami. I mean, which is Cuba Nation, right? I mean, it was almost like fighting in Cuba. And the fact that he came back, he was down, he was hurt, I believe in the 6th round. He got lucky, he got hurt late in the 6th round. And the fact that he came back and he dropped Robeisy and, won that 12th round, that was a heck of a fight. That's my choice as upset of the year.
Yeah, Espinoza, he was supposed to actually lose that fight because really, honestly, I don't understand why Robeisy even needed to defend that title up against him, because if anything, I really felt like Top Rank should have just a push for a unification for him to fight Luis Alberto Lopez or try to go after Ray Vargas, because it's really Robeisy to actually be on that spotlight, to come back home to where he lives out in Miami, for him to lose like that, that's not good promotion. And I'm not to make any excuse for him, but it's just for him to be all the way up at the top of his game to lose to Espinoza, it's not a bad look on him, but it's just more fighters that are being hyped up to be good, they should always be tested with a good opponent. But when you have like a guy that no one's heard of to beat you in a nip and tuck fight, then that does bring controversy to your career. And I think Robesi, for him to be upset like that, it's not a backstab to his career, but it makes you think like how fighters be moving in the sport, and fighters need to be like circumferencing their competition to their level, not fighting dudes that people never heard of, and then you end up losing like a nip and tuck fight or getting knocked out.
True.
Yeah.
One thing about that before D3 goes, if that Robesi fight, if you watch it, because I was very high on Robesi, I still do. I think he's very talented. He didn't fight like a talented fighter that whole fight. He was looking to knock the guy out, and he was looking for one punch knockout. He wasn't really boxing like usually Robesi can do. So he's got to take the blame for that. He almost had him out of there a couple of times. I believe Espinosa hurt his leg or his ankle or something in the fight too, and that's even incredible, the fact that he came back with that injury, because I believe it was like an ankle or knee injury he had in the fight. It was probably the way he fell down in that 6th round. But yeah. Go ahead, D-Free. Is that your upset of the year, or you have another one?
No, that was my upset of the year, because I don't think there was a bigger upset than that one, because even the Wilder fight, Joseph Parker was a name, and he was a former champion, and he's a decent fighter. This guy that Robesi fought, nobody knew who he was, unless you watching low budget boxing and stuff like that. Nobody knew who this guy was, and for him to come back after getting dropped like that and come back and win it on the cards, it speaks volume for the heart and the determination for that individual, because he literally was the underdog. I think he was like a 5-1 odd. So I gotta give him the underdog of the upset of the year.
Okay. All right. What's another award we have? Prospect of the year. Who's your prospect of the year? There's a bunch of good prospects out.
You already know my prospect of the year.
Yeah, it's hard to
know my prospect. We interviewed him last week. I
got to be biased, and I got it, and it's legit.
I mean, not to mention that he won it anyway, but he's definitely because I had it between him and Abdullah Mason anyway, because both those guys fought like 4 or 5 times this year, and they won every fight in dominant fashion. So, I have no problem with Shushu getting it this year, because it was a close race between him and Abdullah Mason. So I have no problem with Shushu getting it.
Yeah, I agree. Shushu's such a great guy. He was great with us, last week. Kind of one of the reasons why I didn't want to do a show last night. I wanted the last Friday Night Sports Talk to be the interview with Shushu. So that was another reason. Plus, I was away. But yeah, I got Shushu as my prospect of the year. But there was a few other prospects out there that could have gotten it, that I like as well. The future looks bright. You mentioned one. I like Vargas's son. I like him. Emiliano. I like him. I don't know if you want to consider this guy as a prospect or what, but I like Raul Marquez's son, Giovanni. I think he's a good prospect. I think he's got a good future. There's quite a few guys in the prospect level. So, but I got Shushu number 1. As the prospect of the year.
And the brother of Vargas, he's definitely one of them. One of the prospects too. That I if he would have fought more, he might have got it, because I think he only fought like 3 times this year. I think he fought either 2 or 3 times. I don't think he fought as many times as Abdullah Mason and Shushu did. I think he might have missed it by like 1 or 2 fights.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think he might have fought 4 times, but I'm not too sure. I'm not sure. But he's got I believe he got less fights. I think he's only got like 7. I think he may have just started last year.
Shushu got 10, and I think Abdullah got like 14.
Yeah. K-Rod, you have anybody in particular?
I would probably go with oh man, this is pretty tough, but I'll probably go with maybe like I'll probably go with Floyd Schofield. Yeah, Floyd Schofield. That's my pick.
Okay, that's a good pick. He's nice. I like him too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another. I mean, I tell you, the future looks bright. There are a lot of really good fighters out there coming up kind of at the same time. You know, I don't know if many people know about. I mean, people know about Vargas. I don't know if people know about Giovanni Marquez. Giovanni's a really good fighter. He's been on Showtime. I don't know how many fights he's got. He might got like around 14 fights as well. I don't know how they categorize who's a prospect and what. I don't.
I think it's fighters that are not ranked, or fighters. I believe it's fighters that are. I'm not gonna say not ranked, are not in contention to fight for the title.
Okay.
Those what the way I usually do it. I usually do 20 fights or under. If you got 20 or under, then I consider you a prospect. Anything over 20 fights, you're not considered a prospect no more. You a legitimate contender.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. If you got 20 fights, you legitimately a contender.
See, because like you got like a Jaleel Hackett, William Osgood, another guy. He's pretty good. But like you got Xander Zayas, like is he a prospect? He's been around for a few years too. That's what
he's still
considered
a prospect.
Hmm?
Yeah, I think Xander is still considered a prospect.
Yeah.
I think he's still considered a prospect. Because I think Xander only has 16, 17 fights?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Davis is another one.
Keyshawn, he's on the verge of becoming a contender because he already got those little rink-a-dink belts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's on the verge of becoming a contender. So I think maybe by the end of next year, the end of this year coming up, I think he will be a contender. I don't think he'll be a prospect anymore because I think they're gonna try to put him in position to fight for a title.
Well, and also Shushu, because Shushu's ranked 11 now in the WBO, so he's right there, like outside the top 10. He's in a tough division too. So
you know who else almost hit my chart as prospect of the year, and that's Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz almost hit it. If Andy Cruz would have had a couple more fights, I think I would have gave him prospect of the year because Andy Cruz burst on the scene. He outboxed that dude that Keyshawn had just fought and gave Keyshawn a lot of problems.
Yeah.
He outboxed him, and then he comes back in his second fight and stopped that dude.
Yeah.
So Andy Cruz.
No, Andy Cruz is another problem. Yeah. All these Olympians that, they got, they're ready. Some of these Olympians, after a few fights, they could get ranked high. I mean, look at Loma. Loma obviously was one of them. I mentioned Spinks years ago. I think Davis. I think he'll get a title shot soon. He'll be up there. Shushu made the Olympic team, but they canceled the Olympics. So it's another one. These Olympians, they get they're already advanced. They're already mature enough to get those shots. Like I guess based on the boxing rankings.
Yeah.
Anything I'm missing? I guess what knockout of the year?
Knockout of the year. I got the perfect knockout of the year.
I think I know what you're going to say too.
That's got to go to my boy El Rayo knocking out Chris Colbert.
I knew it.
Oh my God! I just got finished watching a highlight of that joint because I was watching. Showtime is running all their old fights on CBS, and during the commercial they had shown Chris Colbert get knocked out by Arroyo. I was like, oh my God, it's the way he just laid on the ropes and his legs was crossed. That man was out completely. I was like, yeah, I gotta get he gotta get knockout of the year. It was some great knockouts this year, but that one is definitely my knockout of the year.
It's kind of not fair sometimes, like when guys get these big moments at the end of the year because they're more memorable than what you could remember in the beginning of the year, because I can't remember anything that may have topped that either. Like by default, I may have to pick that as well. I can't remember another knockout that happened that was better than that one.
Yeah, I mean, because the two fight that Tank Davis had, those were stoppages. Boots had a great knockout. Boots had a great knockout against Villa.
Yeah, he did.
I'm trying to think. Anthony Joshua over Hernandez. That was a good knockout.
Yeah, he looked done. Yeah, as far as knockout, yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's one more.
And then the Monster Inoue over Cool Boy.
Yeah, that was sick. Another upset.
Yeah.
I feel like before K-Rod goes and gives his, I feel like I get the Jinx Award of the year. It's funny. I mentioned this in a chat with my friends. Everybody that I met and took a picture with October at the last Deontay Wilder fight in Brooklyn, all the guys I took a picture with, they lost their very next fight. It was
stop taking pictures with people, nigga.
I gotta stop taking pictures. Cool Boy Steph, I took a picture with. He lost. He got knocked out his next fight. I took a picture with Wilder after he beat Helenius. His next fight was last week. He lost. I took a picture with Michelle Rivera. His next fight was with Frank Martin. He lost. So, yeah, anybody that I took a picture with at the Barclays, in that event, only that event.
Go take a picture with go take
other guys and they didn't lose, like Shoo.
I need you to go take a picture with Bud Crawford and AJ. Go take a picture with Bud Crawford and AJ.
I get the Jinx Award goes to me. Go ahead, K-Rod. Who's the knockout of what was the knockout of the year for you?
I mean, preferably I would say Ryo versus Chris, but I was gonna try to explore and probably say, oh man, it just happened like I think like a couple months back, but I was gonna probably say maybe Elijah Garcia stopping Armando Resendez, but that's a little bit debatable. But yeah, I'll probably go with Ryo versus Chris because he sparked him out. So like I was happy that Chris got KTFO.
It's funny. I was telling people before that, and not even telling people. And K-Rod knows him because K-Rod spoke to him before. When we had Ofacio Falcone on, the week before, and Ofacio, not the week before, sorry, 2 weeks before, because Ofacio, or maybe the week before, I don't know, but Ofacio mentioned that he was going to spar Chris the next day, and we was like, huh? Doesn't Chris Colbert's got to fight the next week? And Ofacio mentioned that they were going to spar, and I just thought that was bad. And then we found out, Sock had found out that Ofacio Ofacio sparred him, and Chris didn't look good. So that's what we knew, that Chris was going in there like, he wasn't ready for that fight. What's up, Dub Right Side? What's going on, bro?
Wow, that's crazy that Ofacio put hands on him.
Yeah, Ofacio's the shit. But Ofacio doesn't. I mean, in my opinion, with Ofacio, I don't think he has the power, but Ofacio can box. And I'm hoping he's on that February card too. Because there's a card February 16th or 19th. The main event is Nova versus Oshaki Foster.
Oh, yeah, man. Like, I wish I could go to that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be in the card, and I believe Shushu's going to be in the card, too. Shushu didn't want to say it, but he was kind of leaning like, he said February. So, and I kind of think he's talking about that, yeah.
Shushu have got to come down here to Florida. Oh, my God, dude. Like, like if he could come to the Caribe, dude, like I will pull up that day. Mark my words.
And he's very nice. He's very approachable too. So, yeah. So hopefully, this year, because I think he's looking to have at least 3 or 4 fights this year.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie. Like I kind of feel like that Shushu, his fan base would be a lot better down south, because if you think about it, like you have like the backing with like a good like American crowd. I think it would be really good to say like to expand and have like more of like a like a heavier like a heavier demographic with people that are prideful to watch you fight. So I think like try to test out Florida, Atlanta, Georgia. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. any of those big time venues where NBA basketball games are played or MLB games are played, like I would like that.
Yeah, I mean, Top Rank is what moves them. So I think they're trying to keep him, East Coast, and then sometimes he fights West Coast because he lives out in Vegas now. So I guess they're trying to make it convenient. But the fan base is going to be strong on the East Coast because he's from Brooklyn, and he's from a place where a lot of known, good boxers and fighters have been from, which is Brownsville, Brooklyn. So, and your man D-Man is talking shit. Listen, D-Man, it was one fight card on one day. All the other fighters I met, they didn't have this problem. I guess something happened where the jinx set in in October. I think it was October 15th, 2022, where the fighters that I met took pictures with, I kind of put the whammies on them. I do apologize to those 3 fighters that I have jinxed.
Yeah, but, I ran into Austin Ammo Williams after his fight with Steve Rolls, at the Hitchens versus Zepeda card, and like he looked like he was banged up, but he wasn't feeling how should I say he wasn't feeling intrigued to actually to actually talk with anybody, but I was trying to get a picture with him, and Austin was like, "Oh well, I see that you're a media. Do you want me to do a video with you?" And I told him nah, man, I don't want to be like that. But he's a cool dude.
Yeah. Hey, Dub just chopped off. I'll see what I don't know if he had problems. What did he say? Hold on. He said he'd be right back. But yeah, so I mean, am I missing any other awards? Those are pretty much the awards. I know in this channel we don't always do boxing. We focus on boxing. We do other sports. Team of the year, as far as championship teams concerned, I'm just going to throw this out before Dub gets back.
Dallas just lost. Dallas just lost.
Oh, they did? That's awesome. Sorry,
they came back and then with a minute left on the clock, they ran all the way down the field and scored a 2-point conversion to take the lead with 15 seconds left.
I love it. The only reason I want Detroit to win because I want Detroit to get the 2 seed and hopefully Seattle, because I really don't want Seattle to make the playoffs just to get embarrassed. But I believe Seattle, if they make the playoffs, they'll play Detroit. They could beat Detroit because we already beat Detroit in Detroit. So that's the only reason. But then if we beat Detroit, we'll end up playing the Niners the next round, and they're going to destroy us. So,
they took it off. They took it off. They took the 2-point off the field. They said illegal touching. They jerked them. They jerked them. Then they got a tie and go to overtime.
Oh, wow. They would. Well, I'm not watching the game, so you guys let me know. But I'm gonna real quick. So before he gets back, and we can still continue with boxing. My team of the year, as far as NFL, baseball, basketball, my pro team of the year, soccer, hockey, whatever you want to call it. The best team of 2023 is the Texas Rangers. I know I'm a big baseball fan and I'm a baseball guy. I played baseball, I coached baseball. But the Texas Rangers, they led from the day one all the way to the end of the year. They had a young team. Nobody thought the Rangers would even win the World Series. They had a big acquisition. They signed DeGrom to a lot of money. DeGrom got hurt within the first month, and they still went to the World Series and dominated. Texas Rangers as my team of the year for 2023. I don't know if you guys got any teams of the year, but yeah, I got to go Rangers over the Chiefs. The Denver Nuggets.
I don't watch baseball like that.
You don't watch it? Yeah, I don't know. There's the Chiefs, the Nuggets. If anybody watches hockey, I forgot who won hockey last year. Who was the champs last year? I don't even know. I don't watch hockey that much. Manchester in the Premier League and the Champions League. As you watch soccer, I watch soccer. But I went with the Texas Rangers just to keep it credible because we do talk all sports here, and we'll focus on other. We talk football. I'll go over our football picks. We did our football picks today. D Free not looking good on his first pick. D Free took the Dallas Cowboys -6. Is that game going to overtime?
Not yet. They still playing for the 2-point conversion.
Oh, so the Lions are going for 2. Also, then you're probably going to lose that pick unless it goes to overtime and they score a touchdown. So D Free took in his 3 picks. Let me just look for it real quick. D Free took the Cowboys -6. That's not looking very good. He took the Saints +2.5. William
Cowboys just won. Cowboys won. They jerked them. They jerked
Yeah.
the Lions.
That's William Old School. You like that? He took the Saints +2.5, and he took the Eagles -12. Sock, no, I'm sorry. He took the Raiders +4 and the Seahawks -3.5. Sock took the Jaguars -4, the Saints +2.5, and the Eagles -12. And I took the Bears -2.5. I took the punk ass Niners -13.5, and I took the Texans -4. I really like the Texans this week against the Titans. Stroud's supposed to be back this week, and they're looking to try to make the playoffs. But yeah, that's it for the football section of the show. But I wanted to come on, do our end of the year awards. We didn't really focus on the show yesterday. We usually come on Friday nights. I wanted to get on, just review 2023, talk about, the fights, talk about this channel. This channel pretty much just started in 2023. And, wanted to thank the supporters that come watch, you guys that come on the panel, D Free, K-Rod, I believe this is your second, third time maybe coming on. This show, we talk about all sports and boxing. It's open panel. We go and we talk our trash and our shit and, and just put on a good show. We have good conversations here and it's been a learning experience. Every other week we try to have guests on, We had Raul Marquez on the show, which was great. He was a great interview. We had Randy Commissioner Gordon on. We had Ofacio Falcone. We had Iceman Scully. We had Maelo Villarreal. I feel like I'm missing. I had Pedro Fernandez, the great Pedro Fernandez, who I would love to get back because he has so many boxing stories. He's been around boxing for about 40 years. As I would love to get him and Gordon on at the same time. I think that would be good. And I don't think they like each other either, so I think that'll even make it extra good. And then of course we had Shushu last week. So I mean we're growing. We're continuing to do big things here, and if you guys have got any suggestions and stuff, we greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I mean that's it. We had a great year. Look at I'll just throw some pictures up there. We met Jamel Herring at the fight. Me with Drew Titan. I know Drew Titan. I can see Drew Titan whenever I want. I met Bill Haney, Xander, me and Sock at the Maelo fight. I met Freddie Roach. That's Steve Free's favorite. I got to see Brian Corbett. I got to meet Brian Corbett out here, there's me and Shushu, me looking all big and, BVO-ish, and then there's with Maelo, so it was a great year, 2023. I don't know if you guys got anything to say about your 2023. I know K-Rod's been putting in a lot of work this year. I like K-Rod's got a lot of interviews, and he be at the fights down there in Florida, he does a lot of great work. He knows some fighters out here in the Bronx too. So,
yeah, I'm just so happy that I was able to get boxing media for 2 fights, and I'm just really happy that I've actually put in so much work, and I think that the benefits will pay off pretty soon. But huge big shout out to Mo Boxing No Problem. He definitely gave me the opportunity, but also big thank you to you and everybody else that's been keeping the validity in boxing together. And personally with me, I've just been trying to keep myself consistent and try to be consistent with the truth and facts. So I appreciate everybody that's supported me. So I just wanted to point that out, and I'll just keep continuing to do my thing and expand them. So
nice, and K-Rod, I'm always watching. I see your stuff all the time, especially on Instagram. And K-Rod does great work. He produces great content, and you know, you guys already know D Free. D Free's mostly on my channel every week. He's one of my co-hosts. And he does great work. He has a great show with BVO, and I think that's a great show. Some people don't like BVO, but I think that's what is needed. You need somebody you don't like on, right? It's entertainment, right?
Right.
It's content, and I like the way they do their show. So D Free, you could say your piece. It's 2023 and 2024. What what you're looking for, and how was 2023?
Man, 2024. Well, let me start by saying 2023 was a great year. We got a chance to see a lot of great boxing. I started off the year not doing YouTube. I had took a break with YouTube because I was doing some other things, and then BVO had hit me up, and he started off by saying he wanted to debate me or whatever, and so I told him, I said, all right, you want to debate me, we can debate. But he ended up coming to one of my lives, and he asked me did I want to do a live with him, and I was like, yeah, I do a live with you or whatever, and we end up doing a live together. And then he was like, hey man, how about we do this every week or whatever? He said, I like the energy that you got or whatever. And that's how we end up hooking up and started with Roller Punches podcast. But we had some great interviews. We interviewed who was the first interview that we had? God damn, I forgot his name already. Oh my God, it's on my live. I gotta go back and look. But we had some great interviews, and we joined up with Thomas and did the shoot interview. I did the interview with Thomas on a couple of other individuals that Thomas had come on with Faco. We did the
Facio,
interview with him.
Facio.
Yeah,
Iceman Scully.
Yeah, we had Iceman, and
even Randy Gordon. Randy Gordon is the big figure in boxing. Like, he's been around. He has his own show.
We had Randy Gordon.
Yeah, Randy Gordon.
The commish.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we got some interviews coming soon. Me and VVO working on getting Raquel Miller. We trying to work out a time. We found out what the issue was, so we're working out a time and a date to have her on. She said she wants to do the interview. We just gotta work out the time and the date. And then in February, me and BVO will be doing an interview with Oscar De La Hoya, and we're actually flying out BVO is already in Cleveland, but I'm flying out to Cleveland to do an interview in person. Oscar De La Hoya wants to do it in person. So I'm flying out there to do the interview in person, and we will be premiering that on our channel after we finish with the interview. So we got a lot of interviews. We're supposed to be doing an interview with Sammy the Bull.
Nice.
We also have a couple of other fighters that we're working on. I'm trying to get Adrian Boner on, and we're supposed to be getting Regis Prograis on there, because BVO just did the interview last week with his strength and condition coach, and we asked, can we get Regis on? He was like, yeah, we can get Regis to come on or whatever. So we're gonna have Regis on for an interview. So we got a lot of things in work. So 2024 is going to be a big year. We're going to start the year off right, and it's only going to get better from here. But I appreciate everybody with their support, and just keep supporting. I'm gonna keep bringing you this good content, and I'm gonna keep bringing you to these interviews, and I appreciate everybody.
Absolutely, D Free. We appreciate you as well, and and you're a great boxing mind, and that's why I have you up here. I don't claim to know everything. I know some things, and I just want to continue to learn. And one of the things we focus on here is, Sock's been around for a long time as well as me. But Sock, he's done communications. He's wrote for websites. He knows a lot of these fighters and a lot of these journalists as well, and it helps. And because sometimes you don't want to hear the regular Joe Schmo, but sometimes you do. That's why I YouTube has been great for that. Drew Titan brought me to YouTube. Then I met a few other people, other channels like Southern T got me on the panel to talk shit, right? And sometimes you want to listen to what other people say around the world, the United States, and hear their opinions and hear what their mindset is. And that's how you learn and that's how you grow. And I like listening to you, D Free. I like listening to K-Rod. I like listening to Southern T, Oblin LD, another guy in the chat. I like listening to him. He just came on, 2023. He does good content as well. I like listening to all you guys, and I think that's what YouTube is great for. And then with that being said, we bring in some of these journalists, and listen, there's going to be a time in 2024. You guys are going to crucify me, but we're going to have Rick Glazer on because Sock knows Rick Glazer. But it's good to have guys like him that are in, quote unquote, the industry, right? Just to hear their perspective, whether we agree with it or not, but just hear their point of view. And then we could bash them later or agree with them or disagree, But that's why we had Randy Gordon. Randy Gordon has been around. Some people don't like Randy Gordon because he was controversial in a couple of things in the past, but some people love him, We have Pedro Fernandez. Pedro Fernandez, he's been in boxing a long, long time. He has a lot of boxing stories, and we thought, and a lot of people like that interview we did with him because he's hilarious as well. Iceman Scully dropped a lot of gems also, right? So as much as, we're here and I'm talking and la, right? And, may not want to hear me. It's good to have these guys on, and I'm willing to share this with the people that come and follow. And I'm willing to share it for you guys to come up and speak to them as well. So like I'm looking to have Ofacio on in the next week or two. If that happens, K-Rod, I would love you to be on here too because he remembers you. I think you guys spoke before. If I have Maelo back on, if Shushu comes back on after he's a world champ, that would be great. Like we had him before he was world champ and before he was announced prospect of the year. How great would it be to have him back on? You know what I'm saying? So this is the kind of thing I'm kind of focusing on with this channel. Because it is a hobby and I love boxing. I love sports. And I'm not trying to do anything extra, but I'm willing to share with the rest of you guys and come on and get that experience as well because it's fun, right? This is what we want to do, right? This is our hobby. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, shout out to you guys. William Old School, thanks for coming through, always coming through, showing support. Mr. Shelton was here earlier. Case Savoy. Let me scroll up. I can't remember. I know I didn't shout anybody earlier. I try to highlight it on the board just to let you know that, I saw you. But yeah, that's what we're here for. I apologize we didn't come on last night. This is kind of like a pop-up live. But yeah, that's pretty much our goal for 2024 and forward. You know what I'm saying? So I really got nothing else to be said. Except Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to everybody, because I'm probably not going to see y'all tomorrow. I might see some of y'all, but the ones that I don't, Happy New Year to you, because I'm probably going to chime in when the ball is dropping and go live when the ball drops, because I always do it every year because I be out at DC with my wife, and we always out there when the ball drops. So I'm going to chime in for a hot minute. Whoever come through, y'all come through. I'm say Happy New Year to y'all. And the ones that I don't see, I hope y'all stay safe, and we'll see y'all in 2024.
Anthony Bolton, I forgot to mention you. What's good, Anthony Bolton? You're always coming through, saying what's up. Appreciate you as well. Yeah, that maybe we do that. I think we did that last year. I think it was Quia or Gabe's channel. We went on live after New Year. It was pretty funny. We had a good time with that. So maybe we do the same thing. So K-Rod, you got any last words, last thoughts?
Yeah, just want to say thank you for having me on. And yeah, 2023 was definitely a big success. Definitely going for bigger and better things. Grind doesn't stop, passion doesn't stop, and the tunnel will always be granted for success as long as you put your mind to it. But yeah, I'm just happy that I've made a lot of progress, and I'm happy that I've ran into a lot of interesting people. So just going to continue rising to the top. So I appreciate you for having me on.
No doubt. Appreciate you too. I forgot one other person. We had Rich Mancuso about 3-4 weeks ago, big time journalist and out here in New York, and he's done boxing and wrestling as well. If you know Rich Mancuso is, he's got a very deep resume. So, and I hope to
Oh
have
yeah,
him on as well. He's great. The only thing is he kind of hijacked the show a little bit at towards the end. Like he started giving his picks, but he's
yeah,
great. Like you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
He actually stayed for the whole show. He went into
Yeah,
the
he stood
football
for
and everything
everything.
with us.
He's like us. Like he loves sports and you know he'll go on and on and on, and that's why I would love to have him on again. And he'll talk about everything. You know, he follows everything. He's written articles. He's covered the news, the sports news, and everything. You know, right now he's covering MMA. So so that's another guy I forgot to mention. I had to mention him as well. But,
Yeah. I like that interview we had with him because he covered a lot of the wrestling when I was watching wrestling.
yeah,
And so to hear the stories that he had from the WWE, it brings me back to my childhood when I used to watch wrestling on an every week basis.
yeah. So, so that's all I got. One more special shout out. I mean, I already did, but I'll shout it out because it's basically the show started out, and it's pretty much the go-to is me and one of my best friends in the whole wide world. Where's the picture with this jerk face? My man Sock, big Sock. She's Palmer, no mustache in this pic, and shout out to him because you know he makes the show right. Like we all make the show, but he helps make the show better. You know, I've known Sock for almost about 35, a little bit over 35 years now. And, you know, he continues to supply us with the guests, you know, as well. He brings these guys on. So shout out to my man Sock as well.
Yep.
With that being said, I just want to say one more time, Happy New Year to all you guys. Happy and healthy New Year. Wish y'all nothing but the best for 2024, 5, 6, on and on and on. That's it. And we'll see y'all next year if I don't do a pop-up live tomorrow. We'll see y'all next year.
Peace.
TD Sports Talk. Thomas from the Bronx signing off. As easy as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 12/31/23. It's crazy. That's the last day of the 2023. Easy as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, that was corny. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, peace.